Welcome to the Rusted Garden. Today is August 24th and this is my late season garden tour. I'm going to go over a lot of different tips. I'm going to talk about hydrogen peroxide, and if you've been watching my channel you know that I've been using it on tomato plants and I'm having really impressive results. It's inexpensive, it's not deemed organic yet, but H2O2 is an organic molecule. You can use it in your garden, don't worry about it. I want to start with these cucumber plants. These had a disease. I've been spraying hydrogen peroxide on them. They look extremely beat up, but there's a lot of success here. I don't know cucumbers as well as I know tomatoes when it comes to diseases, so I need to figure out the ratio of the hydrogen peroxide for next year. But I've been able to keep this cucumber plant going for really the last 20 days with the disease outbreak. Normally it would have been dead. You can see the new growth on there. Once I figure out the formula, I think I'm going to be able to manage cucumber diseases really well. And I got at least a half a dozen to a dozen more cucumbers off of this container cucumber plant and the one over here that's pretty much spent. And when it was beat up, I ended up getting cucumbers like this, but the hydrogen peroxide works. I just got to figure out the formulation. We'll talk more about that one next year. These are my container plants that have been getting sprayed with hydrogen peroxide. What's really cool about these, they're determined variety tomatoes and they should have quit producing. This is the Baxter bush. You can see the damage of the leaf spot. The hydrogen peroxide spray is pretty much killed that off, and look at all the new growth. I'm going to have tomatoes well in to September off of all my tomato plants. This is the Bradley coming back nicely. The tomatoes are a little bit smaller, but they're still producing. This is an early girl, again loaded with tomatoes, and all this life that's coming back to these plants are really due to the H2O2. And I'll link the video that shows you how to use that in your garden. Right now I'm recommending it for tomato plants and zucchini plants. I did a video on that too. This is my Rutgers. It was supposed to have died off as a determined variety. It's coming back nice and strong, and you can see there's flowers on there now. When the temperatures get into the 90s, often tomatoes stop flowering and stop fruiting. And it's not so much the high heat of the day, it's the warm nights. The temperatures really have to drop into the lower 70s for fruit to set and for flowers to work and all that. So, it goes along with high day temperatures, but it's also the night temperatures that really matter for your tomatoes to have more flowers and have those flowers set and develop fruit. That's the container garden doing extremely well with the hydrogen peroxide. It's also time, now the nights actually got into the 50s for 2 nights, it's time to start your cool weather garden. So I started these about 2 weeks ago, actually on 8/5. This is my cool weather garden, all in this nice little space. I'll be doing videos on how to set this up, get it going, in a whole series on cool weather gardening. Okay, let's get out to my earth beds. This is one of my pepper gardens. I did not spray hydrogen peroxide on pepper plants. I'm assuming it would work, but I really didn't have any disease issues this year, which I'm grateful for. It's been a good season for peppers, even with all this crazy rain. Lots of bell peppers coming in, going on, I don't know, the second or third round of peppers, the sweet peppers out of that area. My orange cayenne, pepperoncinis back there. These are facing heaven peppers. These are the best peppers to dry and use as hot pepper on your spaghettis and pastas and stuff like that. It's doing it very, very well. My sweet potato vines, they are growing nicely, and I will let those go until the first frost comes, and then I will harvest the sweet potatoes. Eggplant are doing well, minus that I need to really water them. And again, eggplant I've talked about before. I found that they do well in the 5-gallon container, single plant, or a bigger 10-gallon container. Gives me a chance to really keep an eye on them, manage the flea beetles, and they just do really, really well. This is my second year growing them there. All of my herbs that I did a video on, I've cut them back, I've dried them. They're coming back nicely for another round of harvesting come, I don't know, middle of September, somewhere along that line. This is basil that I cut back to little stumps, and that's coming back too. Now I'm going to do a full tour on all of my tomatoes, but this is another impressive result using the hydrogen peroxide. This is an early girl. Look at all the tomatoes on there. All of this because of the H2O2. Now, why am I impressed? You've heard me say it a couple of times if you follow me. At this point in August, most of my tomato plants should be killed off by early blight, sometimes leaf spot, but we always get early blight. It always comes. It's not taking over my plants because of the H2O2, the hydrogen peroxide. I'm staying ahead of it. Whenever I see the outbreak, I give it a spray. It controls it. And the whole key for managing diseases in your garden is to keep them. If you could get rid of them, that'd be perfect, but that's really hard to do. Manage them down so you still get a lot of production. I have my second wave of green beans starting to flower, getting to height. I plant them in succession. If you grow the Brandywine tomatoes, you know that they're really susceptible to disease. Look at all that green and no leaf spot, no early blight. The hops are ready to get picked. If you've been watching, I'm going to be making beer. In fact, I let the ones up top stay on too long, but I'm still learning about it. But the hops down here, I'll be able to pick plenty, use them in the beer. Third wave of green beans off of these guys. Disease hit the beans here. I'm letting these grow. I'm going to collect the seeds. And I've been able to save this again with the hydrogen peroxide. And you can see the new growth looks pretty good. I'm going to do more videos on how you use H2O2 on different plants. But you can see, I don't know why my voice cracked. You can see the different patterns on here of different fungi. Again, I don't know cucumber and bean diseases as well, but as I learn about them, I'll be able to figure out how to use the H2O2 on there. My Kentucky pole bean, I believe. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is the Blue Lake stringless, doing really well. Cucumbers beat up from disease. Zucchini plant that I'm using as an experiment. I'm not really taking care of that one. I'll show you some that I'm taking care of. Let's just cut right through here. I mean, look at the tomatoes are just doing so well. Fruit setting, more flowers. More green beans, and this is cool too. These are all determinate variety tomatoes that should have died off, being kept alive and producing again with, of course, the H2O2. I really am stressing it out at the end of the season because it's something you can experiment on in your garden now and maybe use it next year to have, a better experience. More beans going. The kale that I did a video on is coming back nicely. Put in a second, actually this is probably a third wave of basil. I'm looking at it now. It's got some marks on there. I wonder if there's a fungus going on. So I'll have to check this out, maybe get some feeding to it, but it looks like something's up. Anyway, that's okay. These are dwarf tomatoes. They were stumps. And believe it or not, guess what I sprayed on them? The hydrogen peroxide. And they've come back in force. They should have died out, and they're producing again. So I'm getting a second wave of Tiny Tims, the Hams Gelbas, all because I treated them, took care of a problem, and they're coming back. This is my green stalk garden tower, super productive. I think I'm going to harvest everything off of here and then plant this with the cool weather vegetables. I don't know because it's doing so well. I might try and see how long it can go. I really need 2 of them. But in this little space, I've been able to grow, I think, 15 to 20 different peppers and a bunch of herbs. If you're interested in this setup, check the description of this video. Goji berries are starting, have flowered, and the berries are starting to form. The fig is doing extremely well. The figs are starting to produce. Next year I should get more production. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll do a video in it, but I'm going to wrap it so when I get the sub 20 degree nights here in Maryland Zone 7, the wood stays warm enough that it doesn't die off. Other parts of the garden, again, I'm going to do a tomato tour. Cucumbers back there that I'm leaving to seed. Your cucumbers should be left on to orange, get to a large size, and then you can harvest the seeds and let them dry. Another pepper garden doing really well. These are 8-foot Matt's Wild Cherry tomatoes. I'll be doing a whole video on that. My vertical watermelon garden's doing well. I'm getting melons off of there. Never really got to doing a video, but I hope to do that. Maybe in September, and just talk about setting it up and planning for next year. One of my favorite beans are the Asian yard-long beans. And at this size, they start getting sort of rubbery, but the beans get large, and you can use them in soups or you can dry them that way. You want to harvest them at about this size. But just look at all the yard-long beans on there. Pepper's doing well in containers. I just want to show you all the tomatoes because I'm really excited about it, and this is something I hope you adopt. But I'll be doing a full tour on all the tomato plants. And you can just see everything's doing really well. The key takeaway is the tomatoes, all of them. I don't know, I probably have 20 or 25 here, maybe 30, I don't know. All pretty much managed with disease so that they're doing well. These are tomatoes that I got in late in June, my Cherokee Purple. This is just being grown, look at that, with a full egg and a full banana as fertilizer, nothing else, and they're doing well. Taking a look in there, beans, some okra, that should be fine. I got about 4 or 5 more weeks before any frost really comes by. There's my main fig, brown fig. You can see figs on there doing well. This is a zucchini plant that I just did the video on, and I sprayed it with hydrogen peroxide, and I don't know what I did, but I then forgot to come out for the next 2 days. Most of the leaves are good, but you can see it's coming back. So it's really important when you use the H2O2 on your squash and zucchini is really hit them for the consecutive days. If it's not working, you know, you could try and raise the dosage a little bit. And I'll link the video for that. That's a pretty impressive habanero. That's a roulette habanero. I'll be doing a video on it. And actually, I'll put a link in. I'm doing videos for All America Selections for our YouTube channel. I'm helping them build. And on that channel, we don't run any ads. You can just find the garden information you want. And I'm doing a whole lot of 2-minute profiles on different tomatoes, peppers, other vegetables, but really plants you can use in your containers. And this is one that I would recommend. This is a 2018 All America Selections winner. There's no heat to this like a habanero. It has a great taste of the habanero when you eat the fruit. When you get closer to the seeds, there's a little bit of heat, maybe at like 20% of a jalapeno. But this is just a nice citrus habanero taste to the flesh, none of the crazy heat. And what might you use that for? Of course, you can use it for salsas, but if you like making habanero hot sauce and you got enough heat already and you want more of the habanero citrus flavor, that would be a great pepper again, and that's the roulette. Just massive amounts of cherry tomatoes. This was a Jasper All America Selection winner, and I have a video on that channel. But it's a really good channel to go and just learn about the new varieties out there, and you know, maybe find something new for your container garden or for your garden. Well, this is the quick walkthrough of everything that's going on come late August. I'm really happy with the continued production. Things are going well, and I'll be doing a series starting this weekend really on your fall cool weather vegetable garden. I hope you check it out. Please check out my seed shop at www.therestedgarden.com, and thanks for watching.